excited to have something to do with the Kubota. Another project. Things are still a little soggy around here. Our project today has something to do with that coil right there. Now I'm out here in front of Cameron's house because that's what today's project is all about. Now Cameron has been busting his tail to try to get everything done and set up before their wedding, which is in a week. He's been building the front porch. We got the electrical hooked up and turned on. We got, the power company came and set a pole with a transformer, got all that set up. The water company just showed up yesterday and put a meter base in so that we can connect the water main. That's what I'm going to be working on today. It's been too wet to dig, especially too wet to dig the septic. So they're going to hopefully get that hooked up next week, and that will be the last piece of the puzzle. I was going to leave this for Cameron to do, but he's running out of time, and he has been working hard. He's doing his part. So I'm here, I've got a backhoe, and I always like an excuse to run it. So that's what I'm going to do this evening. I'm going to get his water main ditch dug and drop some pipe in it, get that set up and ready to connect. I don't know if he's got his pressure regulator and all the stuff we're going to need to hook it up. I do know he's got the pipe over there, so I'll at least get that put in the ditch. Cameron built these steps and the deck and everything all on his own. He's still got to finish the other side and put his railing on and stuff, but I thought he did a real good job, especially for never having built anything like that. He got to get his new power tools out and kind of get to work on that, so proud of him. It's cool to see a boy turn into a man and know that he's going to be all right. Here's what we're into back here. Right over there by the electrical conduit that's sticking down is where we're going to be hooking up the water main. So I'm going to be digging right here alongside where we dug the electrical ditch before, but just off a couple of feet. And I want to avoid, of course, his ground rods and all that. And then I've actually got to go right through the middle of his driveway here. What we're going to run into there is the fact that, well, he's got all of his gravel put down, and then he has a creek rock road base put down as well. And we don't want to destroy all that. So what I'm going to do first is dig all the gravel out of the way, make some piles and set them off to the side so that we can put it back when we're done. And I would probably normally use the box blade for that, but we've already got the backhoe on and we're going to use the backhoe to dig the ditch. So I think I'm just going to use my new bucket. It's got that cutting edge on it, and I'll see how it handles this gravel. This will be a little bit tricky. All right, guys, well, so far so good on the ditch. We are making good progress, not really having any trouble other than the one little section right back there nearest to where our conduit is. That hole was just soupy, and so it kind of soggy and just like oozed back into the ditch. But aside from that, we've got a good solid ditch here, and my goal tonight is to get at least past the driveway. We've got a casing to put down in the driveway to protect the pipe underneath the driveway. Yeah, so I'd kind of like to get past that and then feed the pipe through it and over to here, and then put the casing, you know, have the casing on it and all that. So we'll see how we do, but I'm gonna get back on it and keep digging, you know, slowly but surely. I mean, these Kubota BXs, you know, they're not a production machine. If you were running a company, you would want something faster, because the faster you are, the more money you're gonna make. But for a homeowner, projects like this, you just can't beat it. I'm not man enough to dig these kind of ditches by hand. And, you know, if you had to go rent a piece of equipment every time you need to do something like this on a homestead, well, half those projects would never get done. So I love it. I'm gonna get back to it. All right, well, it's just about too dark to film, which means it's just about too dark to work. I'm gonna call it a night, but we got about 100 foot of ditch dug, and we have probably 50 foot to go. I went ahead and stretched the pipe in the ditch. I've got my casing under the driveway here. Got her stubbed up and ready to hook up to the house over there. So, you know it's going to be a good day when you start the day by putting back on your filthy, muddy, dirty clothes, because there's no need to start clean. Let's get to it. So I've got to get a pump set up and pump all the water out of this water main hole over here, because I've never been happy with the location of my water meter, because it sits in the lowest spot in this whole field and fills up with water. So every time you want to do anything with the water meter, you have to pump the water out of the hole. And so the water company shows up, and where do they decide to put his? Right next to mine. $2,000 water tap fee. What I've got here, and I set this up because this is, you know, an ongoing issue here. I've got me a 12 volt battery that's small enough and portable enough to carry around. And I've got a bilge pump from our old boat, and I get her pumping out through there, through that hose, and out to the drainage ditch. I'll just let this run the whole time that I am finishing out this ditch. I've got about another 50 feet to dig here. That should be enough time to get this hole pumped out. I've got a trash pump, and it'll move water quickly, but this is kind of borderline not enough water to fool with that. It's kind of a pain to get primed and get it working. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Well, I decided to run over here and check my ditch because I didn't want to burn my pump up, and it's actually already pumped out, so that's good. It wasn't quite as bad as I expected it was going to be. We are in business now. I've just got to connect my ditch to that ditch, and we'll be ready to hook up some pipe. Pretty excited. Stop now, don't stop now. See if I can get her in diff lock. So we've still got some drainage issues here. Hopefully I can get this sorted out and cleaned up. We'll pump the hole out. That way we can get to it. All right, we have a completed ditch. Now there's one section of it here that is ugly because I couldn't just continue digging straight like I wanted to because the ground is so soft down here. I was starting to get stuck. So I had to kind of turn parallel to my ditch and run alongside it to finish it out, go in the other direction. It's not pretty, but we got a place for pipe now. So I'm gonna go make my connections and run the pipe on down here. I gotta go get another fitting to match up to what hooks to the water meter here. All right, well, we went to Lowe's. We got what we needed. Got some pipe dope and fitting. All right, we'll take these two and go get in the hole. So while my hole's pumping back out, I'll tell you a quick story. You might have noticed that the audio has changed just a little bit. And I've been wearing a wireless microphone, and I do that in quite a few of my videos. And I had on my wireless microphone, it has a magnet that goes on the outside of your shirt, and the microphone goes up inside the shirt. That blocks the wind, but it still works pretty well. Well, the problem is when you're working, it's easy to knock that magnet off. It's a strong magnet, but if you slide stuff against your chest, it will fall off. Or if you're working around metal, you'll get stuck to it and it will come loose. And I have dropped my microphone before in this situation, but today, the difference is I've been working down in a ditch that was full of water. And they're not cheap microphones. And I got ready to get cleaned up to run back to Lowe's to get this fitting, and I got over there and thought, well, I'll take my microphones and stuff and put them back on the charger so they'll be good to go. And I reached around and there was no chest microphone, and my heart sunk because I knew that I'd been unrolling this pipe in the ditch, and that's what knocked my magnet off. So I knew it was in this ditch full of water. Luckily, I only lost the magnet, and the actual microphone stayed inside my shirt long enough that it landed out here on dry ground and I found it. Man, I mean, my heart sunk because the price of this job would have more than doubled if I lost that microphone. All right, I can hear it pulling air, so we're just about to get this ditch cleaned out. Okay, now the focus here really is on hooking up this water main. So I may get some good footage of this and I may not. These are the coolest thing ever. Because they won't release until you've clamped it tight enough and you're good to go. I like it. All right, now we can get the mud cleaned out of this hole. Man, that's cold water. See if I can move you over here where you can see a little bit without dropping you in here. Yeah. All right. Now, the next step is put our rubber on here. Man, that's cold water. Woo! Just stupid cold. Of course, you know, there was ice on the ground here. All right, let's get our hole pump back out. All right, now, let's see if we can get this thing tightened up good enough. Know that I can get her any tighter than that. The next move, you know, as I get all cleaned up here, the next move is to go hook it up to the house. And a regulator hasn't come in yet, and I'm pretty sure this line's gonna have to have a regulator on it. I'm gonna go ahead and make the connection. I mean, PEX connections are cheap and easy to make, so I'm gonna make a connection to the house, and then I'm gonna actually wait until Cameron gets home from work to do the honors of turning on the water and checking everything out. But you know, it's their new house, it's exciting, so I want them to be able to experience that. And I bought him some insulation to go on this so that it's insulated until it gets down in the ground. One more crimp. And we are connected. Right. Better send camera a snap because he's at work. Now it's time for me to do some cleaning up. Try to get all these tools washed up and all that while I'm waiting for Cameron to get home from work so we can turn this water on and test everything out. We'll have to bleed all the air out of the line, and then the first thing I'm gonna do is put a pressure tester on it, see what kind of pressure we've got, and that way we'll know if we've got to have a regulator on here. I'm pretty sure we do. Okay, Cameron just got home from work, so I'm gonna turn the water on here and then we're gonna bleed the air out of the lines, then check his pressure and see how that is. So, all right. Well, he has water, so that's cool. Turn that off. Let's check the pressure. Yeah. Hey, Cameron, just go ahead and shut it off. You got 160 pounds of pressure on this line.
Yeah.
Now let the pressure off your by opening a sink. I'm gonna go down and check the meter then and make sure my line's not leaking. You really don't want more than 70 pounds of pressure on a line. And now that gauge may not be accurate because the water company said they thought we had 110 here, but I know that I had problems with water heater pop-off valves and stuff like that before I put a regulator on my house. But we lived here for 2 years with that kind of pressure and had no idea that it was that high until I started having problems with a brand new water heater. I went through like 3 pressure relief valves and finally I was like, I better check the pressure. Sure enough, it's a little stout. All right, let's see if this meter is moving any. No, dead stop, so we're good. That's exactly what we want. We can close that up and close that up. Me and the BX were able to get this water main dug between last night and today, and it turned into more of an all-day project than I expected, mainly because it's just so muddy that I had trouble getting all the dirt back in the hole and had to make 2 trips to Lowe's to get fittings and all that. But I got the hole all covered over. We got everything hooked up, covered up, no leaks on the water meter. Now we just got to get a regulator and put that in the line and he'll be all set. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and listen, don't forget to get outside and enjoy God's creation. It's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.